My name is Rachel Morgan. I'm 34 years old, married for almost 10 years to a man I once thought would be the great love of my life. And maybe in some ways he still is. But life rarely unfolds the way we expect, and sometimes the deepest betrayals come not from people we barely know, but from the ones closest to our hearts. This is not just a confession. It's a story about loneliness, temptation, guilt, and an emotional connection I didn't expect. A true story of what happened between me and my husband's best friend, and how it nearly destroyed everything I had built. Before anything happened, I was the textbook definition of a loyal wife. I met Adam when I was 24. He was charming in a subtle way, focused, stable, driven. He had a quiet strength, the kind of man who didn't speak a lot but made you feel safe when he did. Our courtship was brief, maybe too brief. We got married within a year, and I moved into the house he had just bought. A tidy 2-story home with a garden I promised to tend but never did. Adam was working hard even then. Late nights at the office, occasional business trips, always chasing that next promotion. In the early days, I didn't mind. I had my own career, a small circle of friends, and a husband I believed loved me. What more could I ask for? But over time, the silence grew louder. Jack was Adam's best friend since childhood. A total opposite. Loud, funny, expressive. He was the kind of man who made everyone laugh in a room. I used to think of him as the reckless friend who never really grew up. But he was loyal, and he loved Adam like a brother. When we got married, Jack became part of my life by default. Weekend get-togethers, BBQs, football games on TV. Sometimes when Adam was away, Jack would help me with things around the house. Fixing the sink, lifting heavy boxes, walking our dog Milo when I was sick. We never flirted. Never even hinted at crossing a line. Until the night that everything changed. By our 9th year of marriage, Adam was barely home. I often ate dinner alone, slept alone, handled everything from leaky faucets to medical bills. Alone. He wasn't cheating. At least not physically. But emotionally, he checked out. I tried to talk to him. I begged for quality time. He always said the same thing: "I'm doing this for us, Rachel. For our future." But what was the point of a future together if we were miserable in the present? It was late November when Jack showed up at our door. Adam had just left for a 5-day work trip to Houston. I was curled up with a blanket, a glass of red wine in hand, when Jack knocked. He looked different that night. Serious, quiet, carrying a heaviness I'd never seen in him before. "Hey, I'm sorry to drop by so late. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't urgent," he said. "I need help moving something out of my truck." "It's for my sister." I hesitated. It was past 9, and something about the look in his eyes made me feel something I couldn't name, but I nodded. "Sure. Let me grab a jacket." We went to the garage. It was dark, silent except for the soft sound of the wind. There was nothing in the truck bed. I turned to him, confused. "Jack." He looked me straight in the eyes. "I didn't come here for the truck, Rachel. I came here because I needed to talk to someone who sees me. And right now, I think you're the only one who does." I should have stopped it right there. I should have walked back inside and closed the door behind me. But I didn't. We talked. 4 hours. Sitting on the garage floor like teenagers. About life, regrets, how we both felt invisible in our own lives. And then, his hand found mine. I froze. But I didn't pull away. That single touch set off a storm inside me. A storm made of years of neglect, silence, and unmet needs. And when he leaned in and kissed me, slow, hesitant, almost asking for permission, I kissed him back. It wasn't passion. It wasn't lust. It was comfort. It was validation. And it was a mistake. We didn't sleep together that night. but the emotional betrayal was real. Jack left with a lingering touch, and I stood in the dark garage, heart pounding, shame already settling in. The next morning, everything felt wrong. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror without flinching. Jack texted, "I'm sorry. That shouldn't have happened. But I don't regret talking to you." For once, I felt understood. I didn't reply. I couldn't. Weeks passed. Jack and I avoided each other. Adam returned from his trip and noticed I was different, quieter, more distant. Eventually, the weight of it all became too much. One night, I broke down and told Adam everything. Not just the kiss, but the loneliness, the ache, the emotional hole that had grown inside me. He didn't yell. He didn't scream. He just asked one question. "Do you love him?" I shook my head through the tears. No. I loved the attention. I loved feeling wanted. It hurt him. Deeply. But somehow it didn't destroy us. We went through counseling. We rebuilt trust brick by painful brick. And for the first time in years, Adam started listening. He started coming home earlier. Making time. Holding me again, not just physically, but emotionally. Jack moved to another state shortly after. We never spoke again. Do I hate myself for it? Not anymore. Because that moment forced a change that might have saved my marriage. If you're listening to this and thinking, "I would never do that," I hope you never do. But if you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever longed for someone to simply see you, I understand. This isn't a story about passion. It's a story about neglect, weakness, and consequences. And a reminder that betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes, it comes from the people we trust the most. And sometimes, from ourselves. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. I share real stories about relationships, mistakes, growth, and healing. You're not alone. And your story deserves to be heard. New videos every week. Thank you for listening.